Hey, howdy, hey everybody. Welcome back to SamiamArcade. Today we're going to be doing another tier list, and it's going to be over the Harry Potter franchise, Fantastic Beasts movies included. And I figured, what better way to celebrate Halloween and spooky season than with the Harry Potter movies, So this is just my personal opinion and where I would rank the movies. We might agree, we might disagree. Who knows? Let me know your list in the comments below. And without further ado, we're going to get started. And beginning the list, we have the first Fantastic Beasts movie. I was a little unsure what to think whenever this film came out. And I was a little excited because it's something new in the Harry Potter world, and we hadn't gotten anything since Deathly Hallows Part 2. I like that it's a prequel, and it's before Voldemort, and you see like a young Dumbledore, you get Newt Scamander. I like it takes place in the United States as opposed to over in the UK. I thought it was kind of a fresh take on the franchise and was going to give us something new. I wasn't overly blown away. Overall, I'm kind of middle of the road whenever it comes to the Fantastic Beasts, the first one. And so I think C tier is a very valid place to put that one. Very middle of the road. It didn't overly wow me. The special effects were great. Plot was okay. I wasn't overly invested in, I guess, the emotional struggles of the characters compared to the original movies. So C is where it'll stay. Next we have Crimes of Grindelwald, and this one, I don't know, I think it's kind of a sleeper. I don't think that the build-up that it was supposed to have was like the second movie in this trilogy paid off. I wasn't feeling very tense with the, rising actions and everything that happens with Grindelwald and trying to create like this order of like dark wizards, and just, the pacing was very all over the place, and I could take it or leave it if I'm being real. I don't think it's the worst one by any means, but I think D tier is a safe place to put that one. I wouldn't put it above the first Fantastic Beasts movie. Just because, the feeling that I had with the first one, I was excited for something new. This one didn't really answer or set up anything fresh or appealing from the first film. So, kind of a letdown of a movie. So yeah, D tier. Next, we have the first Harry Potter movie, Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, depending on your region. And this one, and then the second movie, I watched a whole bunch as a kid, like constantly watching those on tape. And if I'm balancing out watching it whenever I was younger to watching them now, I feel putting Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This could change depending on how I end up kind of talking about the other films, but I think C tier. Like, I get it, it started the story, The Boy Who Lived, and I like a lot of, the plot, getting to see the characters for the first time, very magical of an experience. But I don't know, it just, I don't think it aged very well. Whenever I've watched these movies somewhat recently, I just couldn't really get into it, and I don't know if it's just like the kid acting or just the writing in general. I don't know if the adaptation really from the book held up too well. So I think C tier is a good place to put it. I was originally thinking B, but C tier feels the best place to go. And then next we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This was probably my most watched Harry Potter film. I always came back to this one a lot. I don't know. this one slaps. It's very nostalgic. I think it aged much better than the first movie. The acting was a lot better. And I don't know, I think this one, hopefully it's not too hot of a take, I think this one's an A tier. I really like Chamber of Secrets. Kind of slept on. I think just all the arcs for the characters were very well done. The atmosphere was there, especially whenever they go to the, see Hagrid's friend in the spider cave, and just how eerie that is. I don't know, I liked it. It was a whole vibe. So A tier is where Chamber of Secrets is going to go. Next we have the third film, which is Prisoner of Azkaban. This one easily is an S tier. Love Prisoner of Azkaban. The way that they evolved the making of the film from the first two, I thought was really nice. It's a lot darker. The cinematography is a lot better. It doesn't try to do too much and encapsulate a whole lot of, like the books, like the first two movies did, trying to just fit everything in. It focuses a little bit more on just like Harry's perspective. And I don't know, just there's something about the color grading, the cinematography, the soundtrack, just, I don't know. And Sirius Black, everything just was set up beautifully in this movie. I think S tier is a very, very solid position for it. Next, we have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which this one used to be my absolute favorite. Like, hands down, no questions asked, favorite movie of the whole franchise. And as I've gotten a little bit, older from like watching them as a kid and teenager, I don't know, something's kind of changed. Like, I like the movie, and I like the Triwizard Tournament. I love how that's all set up. It's very different from the other films, and it's our first kind of a adult Harry Potter movie, because it's the first time we actually have like a character die, and Voldemort returns, and the acting was great, and I don't know, it was a great film, but I have to put this one in A tier and not S, just because I think Prisoner of Azkaban is just ever so slightly above it now. And I wouldn't put Goblet of Fire any lower than an A tier, for sure. Next, we have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This one's an easy D tier. I have never been able to get into this movie. I've watched it so many times, and the pacing is goofy. Sirius Black's death is the only thing carrying the movie for me, and you don't really get that payoff or that emotional weight until later in the film. And just I don't know, it feels like such a downgrade from Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire. I don't know if it was the writing or the acting or whatever, but just, I don't know, it just feels very dull, very flat, and it just kind of stagnates. It doesn't really push anything. So I would have to put it in a D tier, honestly, and I wouldn't put it any higher than that. Next, we have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which this one used to kind of just be more of like a C tier on my list. I had only watched it really a few times, and I wasn't overly into it. But recently, I've actually been vibing a lot more with it, and the color grading, I think, is very unique, kind of like how Prisoner of Azkaban had a very unique take on just the cinematography and the color grading and the editing of the film. And this is where Dumbledore dies. I think that's a bit more, I don't know, like an emotional challenge for not just Harry, but like all the characters at Hogwarts. And I don't know, something just really slaps in this one now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I will not skip this one. If anything, I only watch Order of the Phoenix just to get to Half-Blood Prince, and that's what I'm thinking about the whole time. So I think this one I'm going to put as a B. Before, I'd probably have it in a C tier, but I like it, and I think it's a solid movie overall. Half-Blood Prince definitely is B tier. Next, we have Deathly Hallows Part 1. A little bit of a snooze fest, I'm not gonna lie. The pacing really drags in this movie. I know at the time, if I remember right, they split this into Part 1 and Part 2, even though there's just one book, because a lot of films were doing that with, adapting the book to the film and wanting to, cash in more checks, and they just really wanted to extend that story out. I think it does the first part here a disservice. Definitely cried a little bit when Dobby died, but I don't know, just walking around in the woods and just trying to find the Horcruxes, and I don't know, I mean, visually it's a stunning movie. It looks great. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't know, it just doesn't really feel like we're in the world of Harry Potter. It's not as immersive, I think, as the other films are. So with this one, I'm going to put this one in C. I think putting it in D would be too harsh, because if I'm thinking about Order of the Phoenix and the disdain that I have for that film in the franchise, I'm almost half tempted to put it in F, but I don't know. I would put Deathly Hallows Part 1 above Order of the Phoenix, so it will be safe in C tier for now. And then we have Deathly Hallows Part 2, which I really like how it wraps all the movies together. It's a great finale. Visually, it's very stunning. I love the way that they do the plot. And I don't know, this one I think is a very solid outing. I put it up there kind of where Half-Blood Prince is, but honestly, I kind of think Deathly Hallows Part 2 is an A-tier movie whenever I'm thinking about it. Because there's a lot of questions that are answered. It just feels like a good ending. Like, if they left Harry Potter here forever and they didn't do the prequels with Fantastic Beasts, like, this would stand the test of time and just be a great finale. Like, I don't know. I guess if I have to think of it in another way, almost like Return of the Jedi, how I feel like that's just like the perfect way to end a trilogy. Deathly Hallows Part 2 is just a great way to tie all the movies together and bring Harry's story full circle. Voldemort's finally defeated. A lot of these characters are finally like grown up, and it's very coming of age. And I don't know. I appreciate it for what it is. So, A tier it be. And last but not least, we have The Secrets of Dumbledore, which make this nice and easy for everybody. F tier. Big ol' snooze fest, like, even more so than Deathly Hallows Part 1. Like, I don't know. The whole recast, like, they did the best that they could with recasting Johnny Depp. I personally don't feel he should have been recasted. He did a decent job playing Grindelwald in the first two films. And I don't know, I guess I had very high expectations for this movie because of how low I was feeling after the second entry into this trilogy. So I was like, well, maybe they can lift a lot of the story up and they can do a lot more with it. You know, maybe end some character arcs in a very pleasing way, make me care about, you know, what these characters are going through, add some emotional weight to it, and boy, that felt so flat. I don't even think I remember some of the movie. Like, I just didn't care to try and remember because I was so bored during the whole movie. So, yeah, definitely, I would say that's an easy F tier. And this is the list. This is it. My ranking of all the Harry Potter movies for spooky season. I think that this is definitely, like, the definitive list. For sure. There's no changing my mind on a couple of these, and I don't think there ever will be. Goblet of Fire might make its way back up into S tier at some point. I might revisit the list next Halloween. But, I don't know. Let me know what you guys would rate all these, you know? Give me your list down in the comments below, you know? And we'll talk about it. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video.